Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 playthrough. In the last part, we finished off Sonic's story, and I showed off the extra video on showing up all the content and showing off in Sonic's playthrough. So, yeah, we finished off Sonic, and now we're going to move on to the next part after when you encounter Silver in Kingdom Valley, and we're going to do Silver's playthrough. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough, and yeah, I guess we could get started on Silver's story.
This world was devastated before I was born. A harsh, bleak place where we live in eternal darkness. Life is a struggle, and people live without hope. How did this happen? No one will answer me directly, but they always point to the flames. These flames, they burn away at my world, destroying everything in their path. They come from an eternal life form that we cannot truly defeat, the flames of disaster known as Iblis.
Silver!
Blaze, what's wrong?
He's appeared again!
Alrighty folks, so yeah, to start off with Silver's playthrough, we're doing Crisis City, and I didn't mention during my part in Kingdom Valley where Silver controls very differently to Sonic and Shadow, where, okay, his gimmick for Silver is that he had to rely on he uses his telekinetic power code psychokinesis, and what that does, he has the ability to pick up certain enemies and objects around him and able to fling them at enemies. And the main problem with Silver's gameplay, and obviously because since his ground speed, he's not the fastest, so that's why he's always so slow on the ground. And that could be a main problem that could irritate many players when they could take control of Silver. And for the psychokinesis, he has to use his psychic pimp slap move, where he basically had to walk up to an enemy, you press the X button or the circle button if you're on PlayStation, and when you hit X, it'll stun the enemies, and that'll make him easy to grab with his psychokinetic powers. But the problem with the pimp slap move is that sometimes if you get way too close to an enemy, you end up either taking a hit or end up getting killed in the process if you don't have any rings. So yeah, that's gonna be a problem because you can't just physically pick them up and throw them wherever you want for Silver, as you always have to stun enemies, even for both the big ones and the small ones. So yeah, that could be a real problem, and it could be frustrating with Silver's gameplay, and see how inconsistent his psychokinetic powers is. But yeah, and another thing is that Silver has the ability to levitate as well, whereas when you hold the A button, he'll end up levitating for a short period of time before dropping to the ground. And if you keep spamming the A button like what I'm doing right now, you have the ability to go either further distance rather than holding down the A button for your levitation power. But yeah, I mean, of course, when we play further as Silver, once we get upgrades for him, he's going to be a little bit more bearable to play, but even still not as enough, as his potential is not well reached, because I think he had a good idea, but that potential was not well executed. And honestly, another reason why people don't like Silver's gameplay that often is because he's the slowest of a character. Yeah, apparently, yeah, but he's slow, but not as slow as some other characters we're gonna see in the game. But yeah, so Crisis City, because there's a lot of barriers and other debris blocking the way, because you have to rely on Silver's telekinetic powers to pick up certain boxes and throw them at walls to break down the wall, or pick out certain objects or debris that's blocking your path, and that'll actually help you progress through the level, because that's his whole gimmick on Silver's gameplay. You always have to pick up, you're always finding boxes or finding objects to throw at enemies, and you could also pick up projectiles as well. You could pick up Eggman's robots, and one of Eggman's robots' missiles, and able to throw it back at the enemies as they come across. And yeah, I usually compare Silver to characters like Starkiller from Star Wars: The Force Unleashed video games. Well, Starkiller is different from Silver because, I mean, he has the ability to manipulate any object with using the right trigger button without any without having to stun them, and has variety of force powers. And Silver can't manipulate objects around him because it always levitates in front of him, and you can't really do everything around them. As Starkiller has the ability to, also has a lightsaber in case his force ability has to be recharged. Silver is different because he can't homing attack, he can't slide kick, and he can't rail grind outside of multiplayer. Yeah, he's just not a very fun character to play around as. Like for Starkiller, I can literally pick up stormtroopers and throw them at other stormtroopers, or pick up TIE fighters or TIE bombers off their hangar rails and able to throw them at enemies. And Starkiller is a lot more satisfying to play as the ultimate powerhouse character rather than Silver. Okay, anywho, yeah, now when Silver's fortune is done, now we'll control Blaze the Cat. And Blaze is probably my favorite character in the Amigo system, where, yeah, Blaze control is pretty similar to Sonic. She can homing attack, she can grind on rails, and she can also do this double jump when you double tap the A button. She could do a fire spin move as well when you, well, technically she could double jump by pressing the A button twice, and she can also homing attack, but the homing attack is actually mounted to the X button. And yeah, and she could also do a fire spin attack to burrow through enemies. So I think Blaze is a lot more fun to play as for the Amigos. And honestly, the reason why they chose in Team Attack Amigo, the DLC, they chose her aside from because in Team Attack Amigo you play as Tails, Blaze, and Omega in the DLC. But yeah. And also, I just don't like how in the story because if you guys are not familiar, Blaze originally debuted in Sonic Rush on the DS in 2005 on the Nintendo DS, and in that game she ruled as queen in the Soul Dimension. But here, however, in Sonic 06, they retcon her backstory where she's from the future, even though Sonic Rush came out a year before Sonic 06. But yeah, there's just completely retcon her story here and there, and we're gonna see a lot of it because originally Sonic 2006 is meant to be a continuity reboot of the Sonic universe. We would have all the characters from Adventure 1 and 2 with none of the backstory shown. And while this is kind of makes sense at first, it's kind of ruin the immersion or ruin the whole character thing going on in the game, where it's a lot of plot holes and unexplained things going on. And I think Takashi Iizuka, the game's producer, even said in an interview, and he just said, no, Blaze is from the Soul Dimension. Sonic 2006 is not her backstory. So yeah, this game is not a prequel or a reboot. So yeah, it's just so many things. And also he mentioned that most of the characters have either amnesia, or in other words, again, because it's meant to be a reboot, so the amnesia part doesn't make really sense because none of them lost their memory here and there. But it's just it's kind of blasphemous how this is the same thing where someone asked him what happened to the moon in Shadow the Hedgehog, and he just straight up said, oh, the moon rotated, even though that's not even possible. Straight capping for no reason. But I mean, I could give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just gave a simple answer to justify the whole thing. But yeah, I think I do know that Takashi Iizuka knew full well that retconning Blaze's stories is probably not the great thing during the game's development and during decent interviews, whatnot, for both Sonic Team and Sega. But yeah, anyway, folks, now we're almost nearly halfway done Crisis City. We just finished off Blaze portion. Now we're back to Silver, and yeah, it's just up ahead furthermore. Yeah, I hit the use my pimp slap to pick up the lizard, and I'm able to throw them. And yep, that's the goal ring. Again, it's just more of a tutorial and get to use the Silver's gameplay more after from Kingdom Valley for Sonic. And yeah, you're gonna get used to that speed for a long time. And yeah, that's it for Crisis City for Silver, and now we're gonna face the boss of Crisis City. folks, time to face the boss of Crisis City for Silver. This is for Iblis Phase 1. Yeah, Iblis version Iblis. This is a lot different than the Iblis worm, which, as we saw in Sonic Story. This version of the boss is a lot different because, unlike a waiting game where you're not waiting on the platforms, you're not waiting for a purple orb to guide a light. You basically have to pick up certain objects as Silver, and you just throw it back at an Iblis to damage him. Like, I'm picking up rocks and, you know, debris, boulders to hit him in the head with his psychic powers. And also, yeah, like this one right here, he's trying to take that piece of building and try to hit me with it. And yeah, you're basically just scrounging for items, debris, boulders to hit Iblis until like his armor is weakened. I mean, there's not much to say about this Iblis. He screams, he roars. I mean, there's not much use for this part Iblis, and also he has the ability to send in meteors, magma rocks to shoot out at you. Yeah, he'll shoot out magma rocks. Right, you have to catch it with your psychokinesis, but only if your meter is like, if you have like a full enough meter, you're able to catch it. If it's like your meter is too low for your action gauge, or for your energy bar, you're not able to like catch all of them properly if it's like very low. All right, now okay. Yeah, right now, we just took out his, helmet piece. So now we're like halfway done the boss. Yeah, because we could really shave off the rest of his health with a few more hits. And right now he's using a flamethrower attack, but luckily he can't do it in all directions. So yeah, I mean, this part is like pretty easy. This first boss is like this version of Iblis is a lot more easy. Now, of course, we will fight him again like later near the end of Silver Story. And yeah, this part of the boss is not that hard. Just pick up some objects and throw it at his face. And yeah, I think one more hit and she's good. Yep, there we go. He's done. Right in the eyeball. Alrighty folks, so yeah, that is it for Crisis City for good. The Silver Story for part 1. And yeah, in the next part we're gonna see probably the most blasphemous, most in frustrating cutscene in the next part, in part 2. And I'm gonna explain what I mean by that when we get to part 2 for Silver Story. But yeah, that was it for the boss, that is it for Crisis City. And yeah, I got an S rank for the act mission as well.
Looks like we stopped it for now.
But it'll just rise up from its ashes again. What's the point of all this? It'll never end.
Calm down, Silver.
Then tell me what we should do. How can we completely destroy Iblis?
By knowing the truth, of course. Just as a flower comes from a seed, or a chicken comes from an egg, everything has an origin. You need to find the being originally responsible for this catastrophe.
Is that really the answer to our problem? Tell me, do you know who it is?
Well, folks, I'll see you guys in part 2 for Silver Story.